subscribers, non-subscribers, viewers, non-viewers, all of the above, none of the above. Welcome back to it's been a while to do a video in my channel. Kind of like been going through some changes, changing jobs, changing loads of stuff, learning stuff, forgetting stuff, and kind of like moving on. In this video, kind of like a quick one, I got my multimeter Fluke 115, which I think my last video I was talking about this one. Awesome multimeter, can't really complain. Obviously being the price that is, real happy with the tool, does its job fantastic. But kind of like, you can have the best tool in the world. If you don't know how to use it, pretty much useless. Kind of like in my scenario, I mean, I do know how to use a tool, but let's just say I was having a bad day, and then I kind of like forgot, I would say, kind of like the lead over here on this side. So basically what it is, I mean, if your multimeter or whatever meter you're using measures amps, you're going to have one port that's going to be your volts, ohms, and then whatever it has on there, so continuity, blah blah blah. Obviously your black one, that's going to be going to ground, and then you got a third port over here, which I don't know if you can see that, it says 10 amp fuse rated. So if you plug in your wire over here, basically your meter is becoming a jumper wire. Kind of like if you want to measure how much amps something is drawing in series, so let's say a motor, how much amps is drawing, a bulb or whatever, it could be anything, something that amps go through. But yeah, doesn't matter what setting you have it on here, as long as the wire is onto amps, kind of like the amp setting. Doesn't matter if you put it on volts, if you put it on continuity, doesn't matter. This is going to be a jumper wire, and then I made the mistake, didn't realize my wire was there, put it on volts because I was trying to measure something on volts. And I think when I measured the battery, obviously you can hear the bang, the fuse blown. I was like, shit, so what the fuck now? Kind of like this, the tool will still work. I mean, obviously after that I put it on kind of like the right way that it should be to measure volts, and then put it on volts, and then do what I was doing. But then I couldn't use it for amps because obviously my fuse is blown. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, blown the fuse, what am I gonna do? If you got warranty, you can send it back, or what you're gonna do. In my case, I ain't got warranty on this. I gotta fix it myself. So kind of like the saying, where it's like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. In this scenario, it was broken and I had to fix it. Kind of like, the multimeter cost me like about 150. So I'm thinking to myself, geez, get a fuse for this. Is it going to be really that expensive? Ideally, what you want to do is kind of like whatever, multimeter, whatever tool you're going to be using, electric tool. If you know what's broken, best thing to do is disassemble the tool, as long as you can put it back together. That being said, disassemble the tool and then see what the part has been broken, and then search online. Really and truly, with the multimeter, it's kind of like easy to change the fuse. With this one, I don't know if you've got a different multimeter, but pretty much, they all look similar design, kind of like rectangular shape or whatever. If they got a cover like this one, they would. If they don't, then you don't need to take the cover off. Ideally, they're gonna have some fasteners holding down the casing together. In my case, it's like 3 fasteners over here, so nothing too complicated on that one. Obviously, switch it off when you do this. Take the fasteners off, kind of like, I don't know, use a flat, use a Phillips. I got a flat over here, I ain't got a Phillips, so it is what it is. You use what you got. So 3 fasteners over here, take them off. Obviously you don't want to lose them because you're going to put it back together, unless you don't really care, and then you want to duct tape the whole thing just to hold it together. But you get what I'm saying. Take the cover off. In this case, you can see the battery over here, and then obviously you can see the kind of like mark over here, the line, which is kind of like the 2 fixings coming together. Kind of like you want to stress it about, kind of like separate it from each other. Obviously you want to be gentle. You don't want to fucking rip it to shreds, because you got sensitive electronics in there. So take a little bit of a time, obviously being gentle, trying to wiggle it out, separate the casing, and then voila, you know, you got your kind of like circuit board and everything over there. That being, I mean, you know, you don't need to be a genius, but if you look at your ports, like these are the two ports, like, you know, ground and then the one for the amps. You know, if I flip them around, you can kind of like see these two connect over here, which, you know, this one is the fuse. I mean, you know, if you've seen a fuse before, maybe like a plug socket or anything like that, you know, they kind of like look similar. You know, in this scenario, you know, this one is a much higher rated fuse than whatever you're going to find in a plug socket. But you get the idea. If you look like really closely over there, you can see like the fuses focus. You can see like the fuse is rated 1000 volts. Where's the other one? 11 amps. Well, I mean, you know, it says 10 amps, but you get the idea. Just, you know, get the details of, you know, the fuse, the part number, whatever. Type it on Google. I mean, I bought, you know, the fuses. I bought 2 fuses from an eBay supplier. You know, as long as, you know, the ratings are fine. So it's 1000 volts, 11 amp rating. You know, it's gonna do the job in, you know, fitting, you know, into my multimeter or whatever, you know, tool you're gonna, you know, replacing it with. I mean, not just fuses, but any part really and truly. Obviously, you know, you put your fuse back. I mean, in this case, I bought 2 just in case, you know, I'm being, you know, having a bad day and then being a dumbass and then not realizing I got the things on amps and then not where it should be. You know, put the casing back, kind of like, you know, reverse of what, you know, you reverse action of what you've done, kind of like, you know, getting in there. And then, you know, really and truly, you know, I mean, I thought that was going to be more expensive, but, you know, 2 fuses, I think I paid like, what, 15 quid or something like that. So not really that expensive. Obviously, it was a fuse. If it was another part, probably be more expensive, but in this scenario, it was a fuse, which is kind of like a safety feature on multimeters for us technicians out there when we're dealing with electronics. I mean, not just technicians, you know, electricians as well, you know, whatever job you're doing, and then you're using a multimeter. You know, put the fasteners back as to where it was. You know, keep in mind, you know, it's, you know, the fasteners are threading into plastic, so you don't want to over torque them, because basically you're going to strip the threads and then it won't just hold together, and then you're going to have to, like, you know, duct tape the whole thing just to hold it together. So, you know, just, you know, screw it in snug, you know, nice tight fitting. Don't overkill it. Obviously the small one goes over here, kind of like putting everything back to where you found it, making sure you don't lose any of the screws, because I don't like to lose screws. And then, you know, if you turn it back, kind of like it'll take a minute, and then you know, you got your meter back. Unfortunately, I ain't got anything. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, kind of like, you know, when I changed and go to amps, it says lead, so it kind of like gives you a sign to change the leads. You know, really and truly, you know, you're fine if you do this. You know, you're back to the game, to using your multimeter how you should be. Ideally, not ideally, kind of like it should be. I'd say kind of like it should be. You want to keep your leads, obviously your ground to your ground, and then you want to keep your red leads always to the volts, not into the amps. Unless you want to burn another fuse again. So, you know, you should keep it, you know, always check it before you use it. Again, even if you're on volts, if your lead is over there, you're on like amps. So you like directly jumper cable, doesn't matter whatever setting you are. So, you know, keep that in mind. That was the video, guys, kind of like a quick one. I put a picture over here, kind of like I want to talk about this tool, which I kind of like recently purchased. Kind of like, doesn't need to be, you know, this snap-on various. Kind of like want to talk about more about oscilloscopes that I've been investing in and then trying to learn, which essentially oscilloscope is, you know, quickest way, simplest way to say it is a very fast multimeter. That's just what it is. Kind of like want to get into that. Obviously being a technician and then getting more with electronics on cars. You know, you can do a lot of things with a multimeter, but, you know, there is a limitation to the meters, so that's when oscilloscope comes in. Does it need to be a snap-on one? No, but I do have points why I invested it in that rather than another oscilloscope. But I will get that into another video. For now, this is the video, guys. Sorry for not posting anything. You know, trying to get back. And I'll see ya in the next video. Peace.